Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. As part of the design team over at the Counterfeit Kit Challenge, it is my month to host the activities, and I chose for our first layout challenge of the month to be inspired by the florals in our inspiration kit here to use nature items. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's dive in. So my kit build this month, and if you haven't seen that, I will link you up, had some Easter elements in it that I thought I would use for scrapping this year's Easter, not realizing that I had photos from last year that still need scrapped. So that is what I'm going to do. And I even had a layout plan when I put my photos in my story binder. So I am going to follow that plan. And the first part of that plan is choosing a background. And these two papers that I pulled out, I just love them both and I'm having a hard time deciding. So I do set them aside until I pull together some other elements to see what's going to work. And I'm glad I did that for sure because an idea pops up that I will talk about a little bit later. I knew I wanted to use this die set to cut some pretty florals, and this is a coneflower die from Concord and 9th. I will link that up for you if you're interested in that. And when I was sorting through papers to decide on what to use to cut the florals, I found that pretty purple, and I'm going to do that. And here I'm going to sort through embellishments to pull out just a few bits and pieces that can work with this Easter layout. As I start building my florals, I know I don't want to just use up this whole sheet of paper for a couple of flowers. So I start cutting it down to a good size for die cutting. And as I do that, I realized that is the perfect size mat for my photos. So I go ahead and cut 3-inch squares to go with my 2.5-inch square photos out of that pattern paper to make that pattern paper go a lot farther on this layout. And because that paper is mostly white, I am going to use the cloud print, which has more contrast between my mats and the background. So that blue works nicely to add some contrast. And then it's just a matter of organizing my photos in a way that match up with my layout. And that sketch was designed based on what is happening in the photos to get similar pieces closer together in the photos and still leave gaps in this kind of grid-like layout structure to add embellishments and a nice big title. And I'm doing that title with these puffy stickers. I don't remember the name of those embellishments. They're fairly old, a couple years old at least, probably. So I probably won't be able to link you up to those. And I'm going to add in some of these wood grain alpha. So wood grain is another one of my nature elements there, as are the clouds in the background. And of course the Easter eggs. Pre-dyed Easter eggs are more natural than dyed Easter eggs, but still the eggs are a nature element. As I was cutting out the bits and pieces for my florals, I realized the back of that paper has some other colors to it because itself was a floral, and I'm going to use that to die cut this little bee die set. And while I don't have black for the stripes of my bee, I did have a navy area on that floral, so I'm going to do a navy and yellow bee. And then at this point, it's just a matter of assembling everything. You can see on the right-hand side, I do have a bunch of bits and pieces set aside and even a little bit there on the top as options. Of course, I always pull out more things than I can use. And I pulled out a tag specifically to house the Easter part of the title so that it feels more cohesive with the rest of the puffy stickers, which are more colorful, and it helps kind of set it apart from the background a little bit more and all of that. So I'm going to get everything adhered down. Here is one of my favorite kind of tricks with these puffy stickers, especially letters and words, is to keep them all in alignment. I use a piece of washi tape or low-tack tape. And then if you just kind of give them a nice press down, the tape should peel off pretty simply. And that helps keep all of your alignment in order and you don't have to fuss with it. Although once I added a little banner from those die cut pieces, and that is a Tracy Reed digital set of embellishments that I print and cut on my Cricut machine. I'll link you up to that if you want to know more on her product line. I'm assuming that one is still available because it's probably a year or two old as well. But those little banners made great kind of underline emphasis to my title pieces, and I'll add one more at the top for a third because I like to work in threes, and that's going to come up more as we finish this layout. So there is my third banner up there that says Hip Hop Hooray, super cute. And then this section down here below is going to fit my jumbo florals. Now, a lot of the die sets that I use are totally intended for card making, but if you buy, die sets that are on the larger size, they make fantastic embellishments for layouts. Yes, I know it can be cheaper to buy pre-made floral embellishments than buying a separate die set, but I like making them. I like choosing the color. I like arranging them. So I feel like I have a little more control, even if I'm buying a more expensive product, and that is more satisfying to me. So those are some of the reasons behind the decisions that I make when I'm doing these things. And then finishing off my layout, I'm just adding a few little phrases from that Tracy Reed collection, and that's part of why I like her collections, is she has little bits and pieces that make great little sprinkles of embellishments and a few Easter eggs, and then that'll pretty much use up the embellishments that I pulled apart. Everything else, like the bunnies and stuff, and gnomes, will get set aside. So as I finish building up this layout, I have a little bit of an ask for you, and that is, when you're watching my videos, if you appreciate the content here, if you could give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment as well, even if it's just to say hi or something you appreciate about the project, and watch the video all the way to the end, because those 3 factors make a big difference in YouTube land. And with YouTube prioritizing short format videos these days, my channel has seen some fluctuation that is a little discouraging. It's not going to stop me from doing this. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. But in order to kind of feel like what I'm doing is making a difference out there, those 3 things really do help, keep the energy going here, so that I feel like spending my time on YouTube is going to continue to matter to people out there. So I thank you for listening to that and considering doing those 3 things: liking, commenting, and watching all the way to the end. All right, as I put a couple of last embellishments on this layout, bows, there were teeny tiny bows in our inspiration kit this month, which was part of the reason why I chose that as our inspiration kit this month. I did make some of my own little bows for sweetness. And, I'm not a hugely cutesy scrapbooker, but some of these sweet elements, these nature elements, the colors, that is all speaking to me lately. So I got my journaling on there. It was really simple, just saying how happy I am that we get to have this small Easter celebration when our Easters used to be much bigger and more full of people. And with changes in life, that has changed what our celebration looks like. So I am super pleased with how this layout came out. It is just colorful and happy and sweet, and it's filling my heart up. So I hope it inspires you and fills up your heart as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have an artful day.